What's going on, everyone? Starting a little bit early because why not? Because I don't know. I'm not really expecting much from this press conference. Want to start a little earlier. I don't think a 12:10 start is enough time. Get some conversation going with the people that might join the stream or whatnot. So if you're joining on Twitter, I'm going to check that right now so I can see your comments if you're on Twitter, because I just don't know. Hopefully, I don't. Okay, so Chuck Fletcher's press conference today. Not really expecting anything gigantic. I think it's just going to be a usual state of the team type of address type of situation from how they've been playing the past 2 weeks or the entire month, if you say so. So I really don't expect anything major. But some of the funny things that I've seen throughout practice today. Oh God, like these line pairings. Well, not even line pairings in general. I'm just looking at uh, like Ivan Provorov and Nick Sealer on the pairing on the defensive pairing. Oh my God, that's bad. That is just bad. I feel like that's just major desperation mode. Ivan Provorov, Nick Sealer, first pairing. My God. I can just sit back and laugh because I'm just like, it feels like you're just putting names into a hat and picking them out at this point. It's ridiculous. Seriously. But it's good to see Broussard's back. It's good to see Hayes back. I'm very skeptical of Hayes being back right now, just because he re-injured himself 2 weeks ago exactly at this point, and how long it took him to heal off from his second abdominal surgery to even come back. And then in his first couple of games, he re-injures that same area. And now after 2 weeks, he's expected to come back into the lineup, if that's even going to be the case. Yeah, I am very skeptical about that. And I'm really worried if that's, rushing him back. And I'm sure Kevin Hayes is the guy that's also saying he wants to come back and play. I know Kevin Hayes probably has some insight in that, but still, it's just I'm getting skeptical about that. I'm just worried about everything there. I just don't know. It's just still Provorov and Nick Sealer on a first pairing. That's just mind-boggling. And I see I got 4 people on. I don't know why StreamYard doesn't show me just anyone that's joining on Twitter. So people that are here on Twitter, if you want to throw some comments down that way, throw some questions, I'll definitely try to answer them the best as I can, because I don't know, maybe I'll give you some better answers than possibly Chuck Fletcher will even do today. So that's even something to talk about there. So we got some time to wait here. We definitely do. So I also want to pull up the Flyer to Pod Twitter just so I can see what's going on in that situation as well. I wish I can multitask on this situation, but I can't. Maybe if I bring up the good old iPad, maybe I can see all of the comments, even if there is any comments on Flyered Up, the Twitter wise. But yeah, I'm not really expecting this much from the press conference wise. Really, it's probably just going to be like, we're not playing to the best of our abilities and all that. So I'm not sure what Chuck Fletcher's going to say. It's not going to be firing. I definitely don't think it's going to be anything like that, because you saw the coaches today at practice. They were set. The first people to come on the ice, Scott Law and Angelo Ricci. You saw Michelle Therrien eventually come out there. So I don't expect anything out of that situation. So I'm not sure if anything's going to happen there. So let me bring up the Flyered Up Twitter so I can see if, so let me bring it there. See what's going on there with if there's any comments on that section. So let me bring that up. So there we go. And we got some viewers on the Flyered Up Pod version. So if you guys have any questions, definitely throw them my way. I'll try to join. I'll try to answer as best as I can. So yeah, that's definitely something we can, have some discussions, join up. Let's see what we can talk about here, folks. Definitely want to see some comments. Definitely want to. And I'm not sure if they're going to use the press conference on Twitter and YouTube. So I basically just have to wait and see what they're doing. So as I'm just like scrolling through Twitter right now, just to see if there's any type of updates on anything, and still like just looking at these lines at the same time, like you see Farabee paired up with JVR Couture once again. Like they're separating Frost from those two guys, which I'm kind of not the biggest fan of, just because I thought Atkinson, Frost, and Farabee looked pretty good. So I'm not really sure. So we got a comment right here, if I can see it on here. So let me see if this comment popped up on. So let me see. I'm not sure. So I saw a comment on the Fired Up Twitter. So let me see if I can get that up for you guys. So I don't know why it's saying looks okay. I'm not sure if that's just like a live stream type thing. So if I can see that comment once again, hopefully that happens. Don't know what that means. So here we go. Okay, I don't think that comment is popping up. Hey, Soto, how you doing, my guy? Welcome to the live stream. Dave, how you doing? Fire this bum. Oh, God. Fire this bum. I love it. Oh, God. Like, seriously, I'm looking at some of these. We got a Chuck Fletcher in the comment section, actually, on our Fired Up Twitter. Chuck Fletcher's in there. Our center depth is pretty much depleted after all these injuries, yeah. Our center depth is definitely depleted after all of them. I do agree with you there. It's like I do like think some of the issues with this team is still from the injuries, but I do think that's like also an excuse at the same time, because yes, you see a bunch of these other teams like the Capitals, like the Penguins, like other teams around the league, the Avalanche are dealing with injuries, except they don't have McKinnon. I'm just trying to. It's like I don't know. I don't know how to say, because I think it's like, because yes, like the Capitals are dealing with a lot of injuries at the same time. So I really don't know like how to describe that, because I do feel like a lot of those other teams are better than the Flyers, but it's still like it's the same type of explanation. Like, why are these other teams playing better with injuries and not these many people in the lineup in compared to the Flyers? So is that like the Flyers just aren't as good of a team? I don't know. I do think this team is better than what they're showcasing. I think a lot of us think that way, but it's just right now it's really kind of annoying. And also Chuck Fletcher, same thing in the Fired Up Twitter comment, says even not having Ellis definitely is a major issue, but still a lot of our defense is just struggling right now. And then throwing in goddamn Nick Seeler on the goddamn. Oh God, Nick Seeler with Ivan Provorov. That just makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. We got Nero here. How you doing, man? Dave says you're watching this at work right now. Thank you for tuning in while you're working. We got Soto's. I think the last thing I like to see is line juggling. Maybe it's PTSD from last year. If Babcock was hired, JVR played great under him. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I would feel about Mike Babcock. Chuck Fletcher also says, don't worry, Daddy Fletch will fix all of this. Man, I hope so. And I do see some people are joining in on Facebook. If you want to comment on Facebook, you have to go to the Fired Up Podcast Facebook. I'm not sure why my specific Facebook doesn't see the comments. I guess for some reason it's not public for some odd reason. But if you want to comment on Facebook as well, join the Fired Up Pod Facebook. So if you want to post some comments. I'm not sure how they're going to go through this entire process. If this thing does continue to spiral out of control, I do see a coach possibly getting fired. I do think Alain Vigneault could possibly be eventually on the hot seat if this thing continues to spiral out of control. But right now, I don't see AV getting fired. I see Fletch trying to let this team get themselves out of this mess. Maybe he does make a move or two, but I really don't expect anything much from. I do think Therrien should have been fired. That should have been the first thing, that should have happened, because this power play is goddamn atrocious. So I'm not sure why Therrien is still here. I understand that Alain Vigneault hired him, but still, you need to, this power play needs to get better, and Therrien's system is not working. Like, then again, the players have to produce on the power play, and they're not doing that. But I also do think Therrien's system hinders them a little bit. What would be worse, this PK or this power play or picking up Evander Kane? Oh god. I think right now the power play is worse because this power play has just been dreadful for the past so many seasons. We got looking back at what Ron Hextall did as GM. Don't you think his infamous process did more harm than good? It's the thing. I don't think Hextall did that bad of a job. It's the fact that, yeah, he missed on, like, especially that Nolan Patrick pick that really threw his back. Like, Hextall did make some nice pickups. Like, yeah, he got Provorov, he got connecting, he got our goaltender in Carter Hart, he got some of these other players. But yeah, some of the other prospects probably haven't panned out the way you wanted them to, which is, really disappointing because we really don't have that, top tier end all be all prospect, that number one center that you hoped Nolan Patrick would have been. And sadly, he didn't turn into that situation. So, yeah, you can fault Hextall on some of his drafting. And maybe there's some of his drafting that you can, praise a little bit. He did give you Travis Connecting, who is the mainstay on the roster. He frustrates every living hell out of everyone, but I still think TK is a good player. You have Ivan Provorov. He's been your basically leading minute guy for the past so many years, your number one pairing defenseman. Even though I don't think he's turned into that bona fide, number one star that, he was probably projected to be out of all the scouting and everything like that. I still think he's a serviceable first pairing D-man. He's a serviceable first pairing D-man probably in the entire league. And I'm trying to think about, it's just like Provorov right now hasn't turned into that guy that can carry a pairing, which is the problem. Like, he's not that, he's a first pairing defenseman, but he's not right now that bona fide number one guy. And I think right now that's like probably the issue. But I still don't think Provorov, he's not a bad player whatsoever. He's still a very good guy. He just, right now, he's having so many guys swapped in and out of his pairings. He's been playing with Braun so many times. Now he's going to be paired with Sealer. He played with Bristow a couple of times, and even going back to last year, he played with Gustafsson, Braun, Gostisbehere, just so many different players. It's just, I'm like, I don't know. Insert. Okay, so I think the press conference is about to start soon. So if I can find this, if they're even live streaming it right now. So let's see if they're okay. So that's not what I'm looking for. So did the press conference start yet? It's 12:15. Everyone, come on. 12:15. Where's the press conference? Looking for it. Come on, Flyers. So I guess it looks like right now they're still in practice. There's Jordan Hall just said a lot of stick taps for Kevin Hayes as he leads the stretches. So maybe they're at the end of practices right now. Oh, and also they just updated what the power play units that they're doing currently. So we have power play 1, Kevin Hayes on the left side, Atkinson in the slot, Drew on the right side, Frost is net front, and Yandel's on the point. Power play 2, Couturier on the left side, connecting in the slot, Farabee on the right side, JVR net front, Provorov at the point. Not sure how I feel about that. Definitely not sure. So let's see. Yeah, we're moments away from the press conference. It's 12:15. It should have started by now, but I guess we're a little bit behind with that situation. So I guess we gotta wait a little bit right there. I mostly blame for the years wasted on Dave Haxtell and for many draft picks he wasted. Yeah, I can definitely see. Yeah, definitely, try and, keep Haxtell in the line for too long. That's definitely something that hindered his team. You also got Renee. Oh, geez, 6 straight. I was afraid of this same crap different season still. Let's go Flyers. Yeah, I know we're all frustrated, Renee. We're all definitely frustrated here. That's, I guess, the curse of being a Flyers fan is being constantly frustrated. So hopefully this press conference starts a little bit soon. I don't know why it's 12:17. This thing should have started 2 minutes ago. Come on, Flyers. Be better than that. Come on. So if I can find it's right now, nothing's up on YouTube. The reporters are still waiting for the press conference to even happen. So I'm definitely waiting for that possibility. So let me just share the screen right now. Let me just go to Twitter. Let me share that. Let me go to Twitter. You guys want me to share it for YouTube? Do you want me to go through the Twitter page? What do you want me to do here? I'll probably go through their Twitter or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I just gotta wait for this freaking press conference to start. I don't know why it's taking that long. So yeah, waiting for that to start. Oh boy. So we get Soto says, so we get power play talent Yandel to not use him on the first pairing. Yeah, so if they're gonna post this goddamn okay, where is the press conference at, Flyers? Where is this press conference? Where's the press conference? Where's the press conference? Where's that? I see reporters are talking about it. Are they not live streaming this crap? Are they not? Or are they taking forever to live stream this? Like seriously. I came on a live stream for that sole purpose of showing a press conference. Where is it at? Come on. So they're hopeful Kevin Hayes can play tomorrow. Where's this press conference at? Did they forget to, is it like showcased on a NBC Sports or something like that? Do I have to find it on NBC Sports? I'm really lost right here. Why are they not showing it on Twitter? Oh, here we go. Let me get this up quickly. Let me get this up. Get that up. Get that up. Get that up.
Week to week, is it like 3 weeks, 4 weeks? Do you have any update on that? And also Wade Ellis.
Yeah, with Ellis, he's made good progress. He's undergone some treatment about a week ago that requires him to kind of lay low for about a week. And so he's going to resume his rehab tomorrow. He feels good, feels like he's making progress. In terms of return to play, we'll see how he feels tomorrow in the next few days after rehab. And we're still week to week. I can't imagine he played next week, but again, he's making progress and he's been battling this since that Washington game in preseason. Wade Allison, Wade is skating hard, and I think he's a possibility he'll play this weekend in Lehigh Valley. But we'll see. Again, it's a tough injury, made a lot of progress, skating hard, pushing it, and we'll just continue to see how his ankle responds. And Nate Thompson is undergoing surgery today at the Stedman Clinic. Dr. Millette he'll miss a significant amount of time. I'll wait till Jimmy speaks to the surgeon to see the exact prognosis, but clearly
that's interesting. Nate Thompson gonna be taking surgery. It's gonna be out a while.
I think you'll see the hand specialist tomorrow. All going well, he'll be able to resume skating. The question for him, obviously, will be the ability to hold the stick, pain a little bit, ability to shoot and pass and all that. So again, I think he's, hopefully he can play sometime next week. I don't know that he's a candidate for Sunday or Monday, but we play 5 and 7. Hopefully there's a possibility he can get back next week. That'll be more comfort, ability again to hold the stick and things like that. But everything's healing great. It's just may need a little bit more time.
Chuck, 20 games into the season, is it getting difficult to stay patient with all the injuries, or is it maybe a little easier to stay patient knowing if you guys get players back, you guys can be a good team?
Well, look, we're not where we want to be. The last 10 games, the last 6 in particular, we haven't won. 2-6-2 in the last 10. There's parts of our game that have really taken a step backwards from the first 10. So to me, those are two separate issues. There's no question Kevin Hayes can play tomorrow. He makes our team better. When Brassard gets back, Ellis gets back, they make our team better. But having said that, we need to play better with what we have too. And everybody deals with injuries and illness. And, so we need to get better. And, I look, the first 10 games, we were 6-2-2. Goaltending was great. PK was good. Power play was 14th in the league, I think 21%. We weren't perfect. We didn't have the puck enough for me. We're chasing a little bit that way, but we were defending well. Everything we talked about this summer, goaltending, defending, PK, competing, having the puck a little bit more. We were making progress in all those areas. The last 10, we slipped back, there's no question. So now the onus is on, on our group to get it back. And when injured players come back, it makes it easier, but yet, we can't kid ourselves. We have to get better here.
Chuck, you had this offseason, you took an aggressive approach, very clearly, making it obvious you wanted to and believe this team could win now. I guess my question is that will that aggressiveness extend to the in-season in terms of making changes, whether it be trades, personnel, coaching, whatnot?
I'd really like to see what we have before we start making changes. I don't feel I've been able to see that to this point in time. And, but, we're always looking. I'm talking to teams every day. If there's ways to make us better, we'll look at it. But right now, if you just look at how we played the first 10 games versus the last 10 games, clearly, one segment was way better than the other. So we've shown the ability to play better than how we are right now. And that's the most important thing. We got to get back, got to get playing better. And, and then from there, we'll get a sense of what we really are, and then we can make those decisions.
I guess kind of following up on that, you mentioned you're kind of splitting it between the first 10 games and the last 10 games, but and you even admit this, even in the first 10 games, the shots on goal, differentials, things like that, they weren't that great. You said you guys didn't have the puck enough. I guess, how concerned are you about the 5-on-5 process in particular in terms of getting outshot, getting outchanced and whatnot?
Yeah, there's no question. It has to get better. It starts our transition game, our entries, our forecheck hasn't been as effective, particularly the last 10 games. And when you don't have the puck, you end up defending too much. When you defend too much, then you don't defend as well. And so it's a process there, and the coaches and the players are working on it. We're working on some systemic things to change things, to change how we play a little bit, changing the lines around, trying to find different chemistry. And, look, it's a process, but the first 10 to me was still quite a bit better than the last 10. There's no question. The last 10, things have slipped. We didn't have the puck nearly enough. We didn't defend quite as well as a result, probably of having to defend all the time. But there's certainly an ability to get better. And the first 10, I think we showed a lot of promising signs.
Chuck, in regards to Morgan Frost, when Broussard and Hayes are back, do you think Morgan's better suited as a fourth line center here or getting more playing time with the Phantoms?
I mean, that'll depend. It'll depend. You can add a couple guys back, but does anybody else get hurt in the interim? It's the key question for me is our health, A, but B, what's best for Morgan. And he's played well right now. The one thing I liked about Morgan earlier this year in Lehigh Valley, he started a little slow, but the points came, but his penalty killing was tremendous. And there's parts of his game that he's sort of added to his I guess he's added to his game in terms of, defending a little bit, winning a few more one-on-one battles, but the PK is a big part of it. So we're going to have to see how the coaches use him here, see what his ice time's like. To me, going down is certainly an option if that's the best thing for him. But if he can help our team and continue to get the minutes he needs, then I'm all for keeping him here. So it'll be a day-to-day thing. And with Broussard out and Broussard not playing tomorrow, he's going to get a chance. It looks like to center a couple good players tomorrow, and that's a great opportunity for him. And you look at that, adding a Kevin Hayes and how we can now distribute the talent a little bit differently through our roster and hopefully help some of our scoring woes by having a little bit more scoring depth. And Kevin will be a big part of that, but so is Morgan Frost.
On a different topic, how do you evaluate the job of AB and the coaches so far?
Well, I think it's just like the rest of our team. Again, we talked about this summer. A lot of the things we wanted to correct was how we defended in zone, defending against the rush, giving up fewer odd man chances, our PK, our overall goals against and goaltending, and all of those areas were better the first 10. And we're still defending pretty well against the rush, I guess, with the exception of last game. We haven't given up as many odd man rushes as last year. Our PK has been better. Our goaltending has obviously been good. So there's still been some areas of improvement, but the last 10 we slipped in a lot of areas. So I think it's coaching, players, all of us, we're all in this together, and we have to continue to push. And the one point here that I think is pretty obvious too, it can go both ways, but I think the last 10 games, we've played 7 top 10 teams. This is the toughest part of our schedule. So on the one hand, clearly we have some work to do if we want to compete with the top teams in the league. On the other hand, this is the toughest stretch we're going through. And when you go through the end of next week in terms of, the compression of the schedule and the quality of the teams we're playing, it's tough, and we're not playing well right now. So it makes it a double-edged sword. But, I'd like to, get some guys back here. Let's get through the next little stretch. Let's try to win a game, and then let's see what we have. But in saying that, the coaches were here all day yesterday. Players had a spirited practice today, as you saw. The mood on the ice is still great. The guys still believe we can win, but it's on us now to find a way to win a game starting tomorrow.
Have you had a chance to address the team sort of like a pep talk, or do you feel like that's not necessary?
Don't know about pep talks, but certainly I'm meeting with a lot of players individually. The coaches are meeting with a lot of players. Right now there's a lot of frustration. I think when you're not scoring, I think we scored 5-on-5 goals the last 10 games. Some guys are pressing, they're struggling. Oftentimes when your power play struggles, it builds frustration in the game and it can creep into other areas. Skill guys want to score. Look at a guy like Coots. And I think he scored 1 goal in the last 10 games. To me, he's had all kinds of chances. They're not going in. So, you're trying to, on the one hand, it's not good enough, but on the other hand, you got to be careful. I mean, these guys they're going through a tough time. They're trying, they want to score, they want to do better, they want to have the puck more. But clearly, right now, the confidence and is down a bit. And that's why it was great to see the energy in the practice today. I'm sure Kevin Hayes being out there was a big part of it. But it's good to see that energy and that belief. And, there's no easy way out. We just got to go out, find a way to win a game. And hopefully the confidence comes, the goals come, and we can start getting back to where we want to be.
Chuck, you mentioned a little bit earlier about the power play. Power plays 28 this year, 3 for 40 in November, 18th last year. I guess, what gives you confidence that Michelle Terry and the rest of the coaching staff have the answers to fix this power play?
It's interesting. We haven't had a good power play since 14-15. That's the last time. I think it's 6 years, 7 years. We've had a couple 14th place finishes, 17th and 18th, the 24th. We were 14th the first 10 games. We're 29th the last 10 games. Power play, since I've been here, has been an everyday question. And clearly going back to 14-15, it's been an everyday question here. So, it's something, personally, I think that way too much blame or even credit gets attached to the power play coach. I think there's certainly things we can do. When I look at our power play right now, the biggest thing to me is just our entries. We're really having a hard time entering. I think in zone, we need to shoot the puck more. There's certain things we need to do, but when you can't enter and successfully set up, you can't shoot the puck because you're not in there. So we're spending a lot of our power play going back, retrieving pucks and coming down. So the biggest thing to me that we have to fix right now, coaching's a part of it, but a lot of it's execution, mindset. We have to find a way to enter the zone more successfully. That's clearly something that's dropped off. In zone, there's up and down. I think I don't think we're getting enough shots, but yet the first 10, to me, there were signs of good things happening. The last 10, nothing's happening. So we got to get it going. But again, it's been an issue since I've been here. Every day, the power play, we talk about it internally. You guys ask about it. It's been 7 years. So it's something that probably goes above and beyond the coaching.
So just kind of to clarify, it seems like you're implying you think the power play is more of a personnel problem than a coaching problem?
I think there's absolutely, I think you could say that's the crux of it.
Is there,
Interesting.
Obviously, it's hard to make trades, it's hard to make signings, but would you potentially look to target someone, from outside the organization who could help that personnel problem with the power play?
Well, we can. It's not easy to find. I mean, there's no question the most successful power plays in the league are teams that shoot the puck well from the flank. And, we don't have a lot of natural scores from that area, and nor have we for a long time. And it's certainly something we've looked to try to address in the draft the last few years going forward. Having said that, there's things you can do to make it better, but there's no question. You look at the elite power plays in this league, and there's one common theme in all of them, and that's an area we have some really good talented players, but I don't know that we have a lot of players that are natural goal scorers from the flank. And a lot of teams don't. Some teams do, and the teams that do obviously have very good power plays.
Carter Hart has turned his game around this year. What's the biggest difference you see in him? Is it something that you see in body language and a more confident player, or something else that you see with him?
That's a hard question for me to answer. I mean, clearly, last year he didn't play as well as he had in the past, like the rest of our team. And we've been through it. It's different circumstances, I think, impacted people differently. His track record to me show that he's been a good goaltender at every level for most of his life. Last year, he didn't play as well, but he worked hard at it this summer. I think he had a plan. He and Kim Dillabaugh and his goalie coach back in Edmonton got together. They had a great plan. Carter has always worked hard. He put the time in, and he's played well. And but I personally, my expectation was that he was going to bounce back. He's playing as one of the better goaltenders in the league right now, and that's great for us. And it's a tough position, but he's a guy that we have a lot of faith in, and you got to give him credit for the work he put in. We got a long way to go. We'll see. And going forward here, we're going to have to try to play better in front of him and have the puck a little bit more often, because we're putting a lot of pressure on our goaltenders right now.
How much did the COVID situation affect the Phantoms, and is that getting back to normal up there?
The COVID situation, we have one player in COVID protocols there, to my knowledge, unless something happened today. I will say this, that I feel bad for Lappy. I think his team's just been absolutely decimated by injuries. We've had a couple up here, like every team. They've been decimated, just decimated. You look, I think 6 of their top 8 or 9 forwards have been out. And, it's been a tough road for him and for those players. I mean, kids like Tyson Forster, Lazinski, Allison, Ryan Fitzgerald, you can go on and on. Sanding, good hockey players that are all pushing and hoping to be here this year at some point, and they've all had massive setbacks with injuries. So it's been a real disappointing start of the year for them. But COVID, I mean, I want to be careful what I say here. We've been just seems like it's everywhere right now again.
Do you just knock on wood?
To my knowledge, we only have one player in the COVID protocols right now down there. And we'll hope to do the best we can to keep that the case.
Chuck, you talked a lot today about the idea of kind of wanting to see the team as a whole, before changes are made, before anything happens, the idea of getting guys like Kevin Hayes back and maybe Ryan Ellis. Is there a point, though, if things, you guys have obviously lost 6 straight, if things keep spiraling in this direction, that you would consider a coaching change in some regard, or is that not in the cards in your mind?
No, look, the way I've always operated is, you look at our group, and again, I've broken it down into 10-game segments just because I got the last 10-game segment this morning. I've been looking at it all morning. I compared it to the last one. The way we played the first 10 games, obviously, as you pointed out, shot share, having the puck more often, there was clearly some areas we need to work on. I do think that a player like Ryan Ellis, we got, one player shouldn't be enough to sink our team, but Ryan Ellis is an elite puck mover. He's elite in transition. He would allow us to put everybody in the right chair. I do think there's ways where that part of the game can get better, but I saw enough in the first 10 games to know that we can be a good team in a tough division that has a lot of work to do. The last 10, we haven't played nearly as well. We have to improve internally. There's a lot of areas we have to get better in, and we're working hard at it. This is a week that is a critical week for our team. And that, I mean, we have a very tough game tomorrow, but we get a couple of days off and we get 3 practice days. We get all kinds of time for video, all kinds of time for guys to rest. We get a chance to integrate Hayes and possibly Brassard during this time. So to me, this is a massive week to get our house in order and to push back because it's 5 and 7 next week and the games are coming fast and furious and we're going to have to be a lot better. But clearly we have to get better and we have to start winning games and that's just where our focus is.
Talk about internal improvements and help on the power play. You've got Cam York down in Lehigh. Is he an option that you could bring up? Just, he's been an offensive player throughout lower levels and he did play well the 3 games he was up here last season after he signed. Is he an option that you could maybe look to, an offensive guy, a power play guy?
Well, he's out right now, unfortunately, and I think he'll be able to start skating by the weekend, I believe, all going well. And so we'll have to see where he is coming back from that. He's a guy that I'm not sure if he's lost weight or where his conditioning's at. And going into this year, and I think I mentioned this earlier, the whole idea behind this was, at that point, we knew Lazinski was out. We didn't know about Allison. The whole idea was, let's go sign a Brassard, let's sign a Yandel, let's sign a Thompson, let's sign these older players on 1-year deals to give us some experience, to give us our coaches some versatility, but more importantly, to give us some depth. So if our young players aren't ready, or if we want to give them more time, we can. And then by the second half of the year, if the young guys are ready, that's great. Now we got these young guys are ready to play, not just wear a jersey, but they're ready to step in and play. And Cam is exactly that. And, we wanted to protect our team, make sure we had the experience, make sure we had the depth, but also giving these young guys an opportunity to play a lot, get their games to a high level. So when we did bring them up, again, they were confident and there was a little hesitation in bringing up from my end, bringing up Morgan Frost last week because he was really starting to go. And I kept thinking, geez, another 2 or 3 weeks would be great. But you get to a point, you have to reward the right player. And so we want to get Cam to that same point. But he had a little bit of a setback in terms of the health. We're hopeful that he'll bounce back quickly. But clearly, he's a guy in the future coming through the ranks. He's been great at retrieving pucks, great in transition, and a guy that's been able to play in the power play. And all of those areas are areas that we need help in. And we anticipate he'll be a big part of why we get better in those areas going forward.
Players put pressure on themselves when, for whatever reason. Do you put pressure on yourself when you see that things aren't going quite the way that they should?
Well, of course. Again, as I've said, I'm responsible. And talk about head coaches and power play coaches and players, and I'm the one ultimately responsible for everything. So you feel responsible for everything, and you want to look for solutions. But I do know right now, I truly believe our best hope for a quick turnaround is by internal improvement, by getting some guys back, but also by having our guys that are here play better. And I like the look of our lines today. I like, it's no secret, a big part of our offensive woes is our lack of production in our bottom 6. Well, you had Kevin Hayes, or I don't know what you call our third line. If our third line is Giroux, Frost, and Atkinson, that's a good third line. It's given us a chance to maybe produce a little bit more, be a little bit harder team to check. So I think we have ways here to get better quickly, and we're going to have to, because it's difficult to go to the outside and keep.
Why did it just randomly get so loud?
We got to look to the inside. We have good enough players. We're a good enough team, and that's where our focus is.
Getting back to the Phantoms, are Wisdom and Forster, do you think they'll play again this year, or are they done for the season?
Well, Wisdom's only eligible to play in Kingston. He's not eligible to play in the American League. So when he gets healthy, he's
will
back.
play this
He's
year?
back skating with his club in Kingston. I believe the surgeon, he's doing incredible. Believe me, he wants to play yesterday. He's doing great, skating every day. The surgeon, I believe, would like him to wait at least 1 more week to play, so he satisfies the time frame that he wanted. But he's going to play in Kingston, and I don't know if that'll give him enough time to be on Team Canada's radar for the World Juniors. If the fact he hasn't played, but he's ready to rock and roll. He's excited, and we're excited to see him play in the next week.
And Forster?
Forster's got a long road ahead of him here.
Did he have
Unfortunately.
surgery?
Yes, he did. So I'm not sure the exact time frame, but it's months. I think the hope would be we can get him back healthy and get him some games before the end of the year. So it's a terrible fluky play. He dove, it was a 5-on-3 power play. We had the power play. The puck was leaving the zone and he dove to try to keep the puck in and the shoulder dislocated. So it was, just terrible luck and a tough break for the kid. But long-term, the shoulder should be stronger than ever. And, hopefully, he's obviously going to your point earlier, he's a big part of what we hope to have here in the future in terms of that ability to shoot the puck in the net.
Sorry to cut you off there, Chuck. I asked Elaine this, for a portion of the fan base that may be frustrated or maybe growing impatient after last season, what would your message be to the fans about sticking with this team?
Well, we are right now. We got to get better. We recognize that. Nobody recognizes it more than we do. The coaches were here all day yesterday, looking at the power play, looking at how we can have the puck more often, how we can, our entries, our forecheck. I mean, we're looking at everything every day, our line combinations. How practice, load management, everything. We're looking at everything every day. And, but I saw the energy in the group today, and that's what still gives me hope. I've been doing this 30 years and, I think you can see when players are frustrated and lack confidence, and you can see when players don't believe. And there's a big difference, and we still believe we got a lot of work to do. And that's where our mindset is at.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that was interesting to talk about. I know some things that definitely stood out. You saw Nate Thompson. He said earlier in the press conference he's getting surgery and he's expected to be out for a long time. It does sound like Kevin Hayes is going to be playing tomorrow. I wasn't too sure if he was talking about Broussard also playing tomorrow as well. So it's something weird about that. So there's a lot of things to talk about, but I want to thank you guys for joining this live stream. I do have to hop off a little early just because I do have to join a Zoom call in a little bit. So definitely, if you want to keep commenting on here, I'll answer them on my YouTube channel and everything like that. So definitely leave those comments and I'll definitely be back to answer you soon. So thank you guys for joining, and I will see you another time, but hopefully we can get a win tomorrow. I think that's all that matters. Hopefully we can get a win.